Hashmasks, the digital art collective responsible for thousands of high-end NFTs, recently announced that they're behind art forger Wolfgang Beltracchi's NFT project. So Beltracchi is the infamous art forger who forged and sold works from some of the most famous artists for 30 years before he was caught and spent 3 years in prison. Now he's been banned by museums, galleries, and auction houses. He can't sell his art anymore, which makes him a prime candidate for NFTs, so says the Hashmasks founders. So this is an interesting use case for people who may have been banned from the art world to get into the blockchain space and sell their creations as NFTs. I think it's really interesting. And Naomi, I think that you probably have something interesting to say about this. So I'm going to kick it off to you.
I don't really have anything interesting to say. I'm going to handball it straight to Will while I think about some interesting things.
I do maybe have something interesting to say. So I know the founder of Hashmasks, and pretty interesting project. His background, pretty surprising for how Hashmask came around and all the other projects they are focused on. I think Hanson Wang noted in the piece that they kind of focus on like unique drops where you see a lot of these other firms just printing NFTs. Well, the Hashmask name brand and everything around it, they try to focus on like very unique digital art where they hire artists from around the world and they make them create custom pieces and then they mint those. So it's very different from other NFT. You look on any NFT marketplace right now, and it's just squiggles everywhere, and it's nothing really unique. But here you actually have valuable art, perhaps, to someone somewhere that is handcrafted by an artist. This drop was interesting for what you said, Jen, just to kind of add on to that, seeing someone who was disenfranchised from the art world. Probably, in all fairness, he deserved it for ripping off a lot of people. But for the ability for him to enter again into the art world because of technology, this adds to that uncensorable nature of blockchain ecosystem writ large. So that's my takeaway. Zach, I'll give it to you.
That was a good take. Yeah, I mean, I think it is really interesting. I always think of, City Light Books in San Francisco. Lawrence Ferlinghetti, great guy. He had the sign out in front of his store and it said banned books. And that was like the selling point, right? When you ban something, when you censor it, it immediately becomes more compelling to people. So it's interesting that Hashmasks here.
It's hard to say.
Rolling out. It is hard to say. It's hard to say. They're rolling out the banned book sign a la Ferlinghetti in the 50s. And it's going to be interesting to see if people flock to this project to check it out. It is like the compelling human backstory here that a prolific art forger is sort of getting a second life thanks to blockchain technology and this one particular NFT project. So I'm curious to see what shakes out with it. But Naomi, I bet you've thought about a good thought. So I'm going to throw it to you.
I've thought about things. And it's, I mean, when you have the banned booked stand, generally the interest comes from the fact that a lot of banned books are banned by governments and they're trying to censor ideas. And so it's interesting to see what these ideas are that have been censored. That's where this captivation comes from. We're dealing with a fraud, an art forger, right? Who literally ripped off a bunch of people. Like, that's exactly what we need in the crypto space. More frauds to come in, and try to cheat people out of their money. So I'm not so positive about people saying, like, here's a second life for this fraud who ripped off all these people. It's like, really? That's your selling point for this NFT collection? Like, I don't know. I'm not that impressed by this, but maybe someone else is interested in buying the things from frauds.
It's a provocative pitch by them. I mean, I think it's very provocative. It's definitely very. It feels very crypto, right? It feels like counterintuitive crypto pitch.
Maybe they can create a parallel platform that sells the works of like rapists and murderers too, because it has such intrigue associated with it. Like, it's like
Naomi has taken this too far officially.
Criminals who are hurting people. I don't know if I would want to give them a platform, but that's just me.
Feels like a little bit of a
different than a forged. Yeah.
That's why decentralization is interesting, right? There's no central gatekeepers. There's no central authority to say what is what. And, one man's, criminal or whatever is another's freedom fighter. And decentralization as a neutral platform, can't tell between which. Anyway.
True, but just gotta say again, this
one
guy
man's
literally
forgery, another man
defrauded
NFT.
lots of people. So he's not a freedom fighter, I think, to anyone in this particular example. But I understand the
he's
premise
Edward
and
Snowden.
agree.
You know,
He's the
we're
art world's Edward Snowden.
Ooh.
Just
Naomi,
kidding.
please
the show
respond.
before she attacks.